Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury said
That's a hell of a
just the other day.
handshake. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Is he still donating all his money to? Is he still donating all his money to charity then?
With Tyson?
Yeah.
No, I think that was only for
One off.
yeah, one off.
It's kind of difficult being punched in the face when you're not making. Whoa. Joe.
I reckon it was like jeez, I think still vibrating. Easy now. I reckon it's he probably thought he's gonna get the rematch anyway and make 3 times the money. So I was like, anyway, you guys can have this.
I'm not doing a rematch.
It was one of those like typical weird boxing complicated stories where he signed with ESPN, and ESPN, from what I understand in boxing terms, is just dog shit. So there's like all this like promoter interference and all sorts of weird shit going on. But he called out.
So when you say signed with ESPN, he signed with ESPN as a promotion, not as a broadcaster.
I think as a broadcaster.
As a broadcaster.
I think that's where the problem is.
Okay, so it's like Mayweather's got the Mayweather production or whatever, but then they signed to Showtime.
Yeah.
Show Sports.
Because it used to be. So now the big players are DAZN, Showtime, ESPN, Top Rank. There's like a few of them. Because from what I understand, I think HBO is done. I think they're out of boxing.
Yeah.
So it's all like a fight.
And I think that was Pacquiao's outlet, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So it's all like pretty weird thing. It's sad because the heavyweight division is exciting for the first time in many years, and I've got like this weird complication.
And there's definitely been a renewed interest into heavyweight boxing.
And that's mostly because of Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Well, I suppose Anthony Joshua's rallied that European, Brit like following, and then Tyson Fury's also obviously got all the pikeys going.
Yeah, and then like Andy Ruiz just arrived at the right moment. Taco
like,
boy.
Everyone's like, a Mexican heavyweight, yeah.
He's a boss, eh? So that rematch is also happening now. December 3rd.
Like Saudi Arabia, though.
Yeah.
Is that also tax-free?
That's a good question. I don't know. But what I do know is like apparently the Sheikh Prince, whoever, Saudi, like they want to use boxing as a new form of tourist income.
Okay.
That's the plan. That's from what I understand.
I saw Ruiz was very bleak about that situation.
Sorry.
He doesn't seem stoked even the slightest.
Yeah,
they're
so
going to Saudi Arabia.
So a lot of dudes are saying, or they feel that, Joshua is like, he gets protected in the UK and he only fights in certain places where the testing's a bit dodgy. So that's where a lot of that's coming from. You know what I mean? Look, and you look at the guy and you're like, well, is he wrong? Like, is he wrong? So I think it's got a lot to do with the anti-doping. That's his big problem. Is I don't think he
has he ever been flagged or caught? Has anything happened to him regarding doping?
I think I heard something the other day. It was like a rumor where he got caught for something and it just went away, or someone else got caught in the UK as a boxer and it just disappeared. You know what I mean? The same guys are like running his shit, bro. So I don't know. There's speculation. There's a bit of speculation of AJ on the source. Look, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
but like boxing's fucking weird like it, man. There's so much caco that happens behind the scene, Instead of like say, okay, these two guys think they're the best, let's fucking have it and see who it is.
Didn't boxing have a situation where there was a lot of like match fixing and?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, I mean, it's got a deep history of like dirty behavior,
dirty antics.
Yeah,
for sure. Anyways, dude,
how was Abu Dhabi?
Fucking hell.
Got the shirt.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt.
In the Hize, boy. In the Hize, I thought I have to wear it today.
No, definitely.
Seeing as we're back.
So tell us how it went.
Dude.
Give us a rundown from leaving OR Tambo to arriving back at OR Tambo.
Well, the first plan of action, like, because it's an 8-hour flight, so it's like, it's short enough to do for a short time, and like long enough you can get some chill time. So I was landing at 6 a.m. I had to check in, be at the Crown Plaza where all the action was at 8:30 to check in, to get my media check in, and then in time for early weigh-ins at 9:30.
Yeah.
So in my head, I think the flight left at like 8. Like my head, I was like, I can drop a sleeping tablet, sleep for like 5-6 hours, be golden, because you're going to land and nothing. So you got early weigh-ins, a bit of time to like get adjusted, see what's happening, figure out who's who and what's what. Maybe go back to the hotel, chill a bit, see a bit of Abu Dhabi, and then head to the arena, you know. Except for like maybe 2 hours on the plane.
Man.
You know how it goes, dude. Just one of those things. The end, I was like, fuck it, I gotta make a call. And I'm like, I'm just gonna push through. Did all the things. Was like, I think at the official weigh-ins, I think I was like just too starstruck and too tired to like really realize what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, there's just all these dudes, and then people are like walking past you, and then Khabib's like in front of you, and you're like fucking trying to get all your shit. And obviously, I'm the only dude with a monopod. Everyone's got like their tripod set up nice, and I'm just like, cool, what's happening?
Yeah, it was the first time. I mean, we've never
Yeah,
had South
man.
African media at a UFC event.
Yeah, it was fucking educational, I'll tell you that much. But it was sick, man. It was so cool. And then like, so just to put Abu Dhabi into perspective for you, in the afternoon came, and I had like a couple of hours before I needed to move to the arena. You know, like the media's got to check in early and stuff. I got an email saying, look, there's going to be a Q&A with Khabib after the weigh-ins, because he didn't attend the media day kind of thing. And I was like, cool, sweet, that's cool. Then I'm like, I got like maybe 3 hours. I'm like, do I sleep? You're going to wake up worse kind of thing. I'm like, fuck, I could just slam a Red Bull maybe. Open the mini bar. I'm like, grab it. I'm like, just about to open this thing. I'm like, let me just have a look at this little price tag
list.
over here.
Man.
254 Rand for Red Bull. I'm like, I don't need it that bad.
No.
I'll go find a coffee.
Oi.
Yeah, dude, but it was, oh man, it was such a surreal experience. I think being like caught in the whole UFC cog, and then chilling with Don and JP and Rich and Boyd and Martin, and like, you know, like I was with them for the power up, and they did their power up in the morning, like took a few photos, and just, you know, just got into that whole like vibe. It was so crazy to watch Don just like switch it on in that power up, dude. It was we
Don's
were all
such a seasoned veteran when it comes to that. Like,
we were all sitting there like speechless, dude, and like, fuck, okay, things are gonna happen now. Like, it's heavy.
No, he looked savage. I saw some videos from his power up, and he was looking savage. That cross lead hook combo that he was throwing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I thought someone was gonna sleep.
Yeah, so it was, you know, like just being there, and it was, I was saying to someone, like, I'd been with Don for so long, like training and then watching and then filming and doing the whole process of the making of Don Madge, and then actually going out there and then watching the whole thing unfold was, man, it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal. You know what I mean? Besides the fact that you're like at a UFC event and everything's just happening so fast, that like, you know, to go through all of that as well was just, oh man, it was out of this world. Out of this world. And yeah, man, it was
looked like
educational.
9,000 degrees Celsius in the
No, it's 9,001. Yes, dude. I don't think people understand how hot it is in there. Like, look, to their credit, it was quite a bit cooler inside. The problem, I think, was you know, the local guys were saying that it took them like 4 or 5 days to get that arena temperature down with like the aircon systems that they'd used. And then I'm not sure they had calculated for once it was filled with 13,000 people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So HVAC, you genuinely need to like do obviously like the volume of the space you're trying to cool, and like the actual number of people that will be inhabiting that space. And they probably just got the calculation wrong somewhere.
Look, and also, to be 100% honest, by the time Don came out to fight, I mean, I was drenched in sweat in the stands. I was just sweating, dude. It was hectic. But it still filled up to capacity after him. You know what I mean? So it got a lot hotter. So it was weird. Like if you went outside, so how the UFC works is the media room is actually detached from the arena. It's like outside. So you've got like 2 massive sections, one with like a press conference type setup and a stage, and like desks and chairs and stuff, and then right next to it is just like rows and rows and rows. I think I sent you guys a photo of just desks, and there's like PowerPoints, and then there's like food and stuff there. So the most of the media are like 3-4 people. So MMA Junkie for the most part was like Mike Bond, John Goodman, the lady All Elbows, and the other Asian dude with the stash. So that's their team. So the lady's like, I can't remember her name, man. It's All Elbows, at All Elbows on Instagram. She's their photographer, and she's a machine.
Estelin is the...
Yeah.
Or was it Estelin?
Estelin, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she was MMA Fighting's...
No, I'm sure. Or whatever, bro.
Wasn't it her and Ariel that got removed from the event because Ariel said that Brock is coming back before they did
I don't know if it was her, but yeah, he was definitely removed. So anyway, but they're like a big team like that. So for MMA Junkie, for example, like John Goodman is purely based in the media room.
Yeah.
Mike Bond is purely like that Oak's the MVP, dude. I don't think I saw that Oak even get up to pee. He just sat there the whole night. Like I could see him like directly in front of me. So there was like media section. Like you can see it if you watch UFC. You can see like the media with their laptops.
Yeah.
Like cage side, and I was sitting just above them. That dude didn't move. It was crazy, bro. Like every time I got there, he was.
Does
just
he do the
there.
play-by-plays and all of that?
I think so, and he updates. So the UFC has rules. Media can't film and take like live video and stuff of anything happening. You can take photos from your phone only, like in a break in the action, and they're quite hectic about it. So I think you can update blow by blow, but it's very limited to what you can do. And I guess he's just gathering information and relaying it back. So in the media room, there's TVs everywhere as well. So a lot of people like sitting watching the TV.
Yeah.
But this Duas was the only Oak, like running to the fight, to his seat, and then running back to the media room trying to get shit. And like eventually I figured, I'm like, I don't know how this like post-fight scrum is going to relate to South African media, how people are going to be interested, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of slowed down on that and started cherry picking, make sure I was like in the right place at the right time for the people I thought that would be worthwhile.
So were they doing each fight that finished fighting? They came back. The winner came back and did like a little quick scrum with all the.
Yeah. It's like a 10-minute scrum.
Yeah.
More or less, but it's like, and also like I don't think I had all the exact right gear that you need for that sort of scrum setup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those dudes have got like reporter mics and there's a stand and they jam them in and they've got big cameras at the back and it's. But the thing is that MMA media is an entire industry.
Yeah.
That's the massive difference from our perspective in terms of media. It's an entire industry, and these dudes are not messing around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
but they got the funding. Like
yeah.
I mean, like MMA Jungle USA Today is backing them.
Yeah, sure.
MMA Fighting. I can't remember the people that do it. Who backs MMA Fighting?
I'm not too sure.
The old Ariel show. Yeah. Now it's the other China. Anyway. But I mean, you got all this money backing it, and they're flying to every event, whether it's in Canada or whether it's in Saudi Arabia, wherever it is.
So MMA Junkie, John Goodman and Mike Bond were the two main dudes on the ground. They were covering that, and there was another team still covering the Bellator at the same time, Beta vs Congo.
Yeah.
And then the next weekend, those dudes were in Vancouver, bro. You know what I mean? So it's also like it's heavy. Those dudes are, and it's non-stop. Like I mean, the media doesn't stop. There's no like, it's such a long day, dude.
Yeah.
I think I left the hotel at like 4 PM and probably got home 4 AM.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? And then like when I got back
what time was the Khabib fight on? Local time?
I want to say like 12:30, 1 maybe. And then when I got back to the hotel, there was quite a bit of, especially British media. I don't know. I think it was like, I can't remember who it was. BT Sports and a few other big guys. Those dudes were still editing, you know what I mean? Still uploading, editing. You know, like I saw them in the morning. I don't think those dudes had slept, you know what I mean? And they actually stayed an extra day just to get all the editing and stuff done and uploaded before they went back, which was quite crazy. And it's just this whole cog, this whole machine. Like the UFC people are, dude, they're brilliant, man. There's so many different people just working in like one media section, you know what I mean? Like PR people and. Yeah, dude, it's a different monster. It's an absolute monster, and it was man, I can't like really put into words the amount of stuff I learned and the people I got to speak to and like really, you know, like it's quite funny you say you're Alistair from South Africa and they're all like, oh. You know what I mean? It's quite funny. Yeah. And then dude, like the absolute fucking highlight of that whole trip was, so I bumped into the dudes that were there from Full Reptile, the two camera guys and then the film dudes. And I started speaking to them because they were the guys who filmed. They made a documentary for Carl. And I started speaking to them about Carl and we were like sending photos to Carl and like having a laugh. And then Dan Hardy obviously came with them. So he was like missioning around. And I sat with Dan for like half an hour, 45 minutes, bro. Just like speaking about Don and Carl and like MMA. And
he's quite a big Don fan, eh?
Oh, dude, he's a huge fan of Don, like massive. And he was saying to me like, yeah, you know, tell Don if he comes, he must come train with me. But honestly,
what's
dude,
it, that Black Edge MMA or something, or Black something?
No, it's Hardy Wallhead now.
Oh, well, Hardy Wallhead, yes,
Hardy
that's
Wallhead,
it.
yeah. Dude, and he's honestly like the nicest guy. Just had time for everybody, spoke to everybody, gave his opinion on it. He was fucked it. he was so cool. He legitimately made me feel like so good afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
Like sitting, like you know, like you fanboy quite hard when you see someone like Dan Hardy, and then he sits down and just like starts chatting to you. Shame the dude tried to eat his supper for like an hour and a half because people kept on asking him shit, and then he's like, I'm like, it's fine, dude, like finish your food and then we'll carry on this conversation. But yeah, man, that was one of the big highlights.
It's kind of like a weird situation because Dan Hardy, obviously like a superstar in his era,
sure.
he just couldn't crack it at becoming a champion, and then so I loved that he was the first guy to get past 3 losses, and they still kept him on board.
Yeah, sure.
And now he's the analyst, and he's like actually so knowledgeable. So even if you're not like fanboying hard from his actual MMA career, you're also fanboying hard because he's actually such a knowledgeable individual in the sport.
It's so crazy, and like I think because he called Don's first fight, and maybe I don't know, maybe because he said like he called it, and he I think he was quite he underestimated Don's all-round ability. You know, I mean, obviously the information he was given was some Muay Thai fighter. You know what I mean? And when he saw Don, he was like, okay, fuck. And he was saying to me like he loves Don's fighting style. Like he thinks he's going to do really well because he's a big lightweight and he's long, and his fighting style is cool. Sorry. And he was also going on to say like, you know, his whole demeanor, the way he dresses and handles himself on social media, and like he addressed all of that. And fuck, man, it was just, he's so cool. And to sit and think of how far we've come, that Dan Hardy, one of the best analysts in international MMA, knows so much about someone like Don Madge. Yeah. And he's so invested in watching him and seeing how he progresses, you know, which was it was insane, dude.
I was actually super surprised to see when Dan and Don stood next to each other, that Don is significantly bigger than Dan Hardy.
He's huge, dude.
Who spent his whole career at welterweight.
Yeah.
And you know, with no disrespect to Don, but he doesn't feel like the biggest lightweight in the room. You know, you go with someone like Rocky, and you're like, Rocky's massive, you know. And for Dan to say that he's like a big lightweight, it's like, look, Don's a scary individual in every element.
There's some big ass dudes. Let me tell you, dude. Like,
what other lightweight? I mean, his opponent was massive as well.
Yeah, well, you had Khabib Poirier. Barboza Felder.
How big is Don in comparison to like Khabib and Poirier?
Like Poirier is big, dude. He's just like, he's a big unit.
Which is crazy because he fought at featherweight.
Yeah. No, but I think he's like just getting bigger. He's just like filling out as he's getting older. You know, he's just like, his shoulders are broad and he's just big, dude. Khabib is like, I was trying to explain to someone that over the weekend, and this was one of the biggest standouts for me, like watching. So I made a point of watching the heavyweight fights because you want to see these monstrosities like Curtis Blades. Dude.
Is he massive?
He's just huge, bro. He's the biggest person I think
he
I've ever seen
wrestled
in my
the
life.
shit out of that
bro.
opponent.
And you know how big that oak was that he fought, Abdullah, and then they called, I'm not even try to say his name. And he was like he was thick, bro. And like a thick Russian, you're like, there's no way he's going to wrestle. Fuck this dude. It's never going to happen. Yeah. And then from the first round, I was like, that's it.
He wrestled hard, and that ground and pound was nasty, bro.
And then like the biggest takeout from the fights was actually, I promise you, dude, watching Khabib fight was literally like watching a pack of lions hunting an injured gazelle. I can't explain it to you, bro. It's like, you know, like you watch Khabib on TV and you're like, fuck, okay, there's something else going on here. But the way I can only describe it as he's hunting his prey. But he's like on the hunt, bro. It's so scary. And like from the first takedown, I can't remember exactly, man. Like obviously everything was a bit blurry the next day. But like from the first takedown, it looked like a man getting just mauled by a different creature. It was literally like a bear attacking a baby. It was so fucking crazy, bro. And that was the thing that stuck with me after the end of that night, was just how scary that oak is, dude. And I can tell you now, I don't think there's, maybe Ferguson, I think he's the best chance we've got of anybody beating that oak. Yeah. Watching that dude live, I was like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
You watch Dustin and you feel like, well, he's a fairly well-rounded fighter. He is definitely the number 3 guy in that division.
Sure.
And, you know, like it seems like the top 3 guys is a cut above the rest.
Yeah.
But then you see what Khabib did to Dustin. You're like, shit. I don't know.
Look,
I don't know if anyone has the skill set to, you know, like. I mean, he did get him in. He did have him in deep waters, like or twice. I don't know if you could see it in the arena, but he actually rocked him at one stage.
Yeah, he did. He was backing up quite hectically.
Yeah. He got on that bicycle and started running.
Yeah. No, he rocked him quite hectically, but like Khabib says, it wasn't that bad. But I suppose that's what fighters say. And like even the guillotine from the onset, I was like, okay, yeah, it's deep, but there was, like if you can see a lot of neck and back of the head in a guillotine,
you want that like glass on the back of the
like
base of the skull.
Just not there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he readjusted, and I was like, okay, fuck, that is on. And you saw, I think Khabib rolled to his back to give up the position.
Yeah.
And I mean, Khabib's probably done that once that's probably the first time he's done that in his life.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fuck, it's definitely on. But I like, even then you were like, you just believe he's going to get out. And I think that's what he believes. I think a lot of dudes would have tapped to that guillotine, to be honest.
I think he would have gone to sleep before.
Because at first I was like, I didn't think it was that tight. And then like I was okay, I was like, okay, it was obviously very tight. Then I spoke to like JP and Rich afterwards, and they're like, dude, trust me, that from like watching on the TV, it was fucking deep.
The crazy thing is that with Khabib, I don't think he would have ever submitted.
Oh yeah,
I
he
think
would have gone to sleep. No, he would have gone to sleep. No, I think his father would probably beaten him with a bigger stick. You know, that was also that dude's dad is one scary individual, dude. It's just one of those guys who just carries that presence. You just cucking yourself.
So he can't get a visa because he has ties with the old Chechnyan, the old Chechen government that.
Bro, so I was sitting next to, I can't remember his name now. I think it was the fight after Don, the Russian dude. I was actually sitting next to his manager. Just to put people into perspective of how the UFC works. Dan Lambert sat 2 rows in front of me and not cage side. If you
so
don't
just for whoever doesn't know, Dan Lambert's the owner of ATT.
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier's gym.
So Dan Lambert, Nogueira, Dan Ige, who else was sitting there? Like those dudes are
because he was part of Khabib's camp.
Yeah. Rocky, Leon Edwards, and a few other like A-list MMA dudes, not even sitting cage side, bro. That's I think obviously. So the UFC is different. It's not like EFC where you've got everybody sitting cage side.
Yeah.
How it works here, you've got the octagon, and then there's like the cage side section. That's only officials and media. That is it. That's like how they prioritize the media and understand their role in the MMA, which was amazing to see. You know what I mean? Like, okay, obviously here we're growing and you know there's not a lot of guys that are like committed full time to MMA, like MMA Junkie and MMA Fighting and Barstool and all of these massive dudes. You know, like the list goes on. But the prioritization of media was insane to see, dude. Like to see Dan Lambert, who's like a multi-millionaire, the owner of ATT's, had one of the biggest influences in MMA history. Can't even get a seat case.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, shit serious here. There was the Chechnyan president there, some other big...
Well, not the Chechnyan, the Dagestani.
No. Chechnyan president, bro.
Wasn't Chechnya disbanded because they raped and pillaged the entire country?
Bro, I don't know. There was even I actually want to.
That's why he's not allowed into America, because he has ties with the former Chechnyan government.
No, bro, literally the Chechnyan president was there. The dude, he was even showing me videos of this guy arriving, bro. So it was him, like 2 other Chechnyan. He kept on saying a Chechnyan strongman, and I thought, okay, the dude who lifts stones. And I later realized like a hitman.
Oh, okay.
And there were some serious people there, dude. Like serious people. There was a guy who I thought was Khabib's dad, and later realized it wasn't. I don't know if it was his uncle or who it was, sitting directly across from us, cage side. One of the very few people sitting cage side, who was at points when like when Makhachev was fighting and like the Khabib camp was fighting and Zuba was like running to the cage and like grabbing the cage, like shouting at fighters, and nobody was doing shit, dude. Nobody was, you know, normally like there's officials saying sit down or like whatever. Yeah. Nobody was doing shit. There was 2 of them almost like banging on the cage when Khabib was fighting, dude. Nobody was saying shit. I was like, these are some heavy mofos, dude. These were some heavy mofos.
Well, these aren't people that changed MMA history. These are people that changed global history.
Yeah. So there were some serious people there, dude. There were some serious people.
But I'd actually like to read up again on the. I watched a movie about it, but I'm sure the Chechen government was disbanded because there was this whole thing of a sector of Chechnya that they basically had the civil war and they just ran through all these areas, raping and pillaging.
Yeah.
And I'm not like exaggerating. That's exactly what they were doing. So I think Chechnya became Dagestan,
Yeah.
and then became under like
Well,
full
these dudes were
USSR
saying
rule.
the Chechnyan president. Someone actually even asked Dana in the post-fight press conference if he saw the Chechnyan president. And Dana was like, I don't know who you're talking about. I was like, well played, Dana. Well played. I also don't know shit. I don't know. I don't see anything. I don't know nothing. I was like, well played. I'm like, come on, bro. You know, if the Chechen president is at your event, you know. Someone's like, listen, Dana, we've got the Chechen president here on aisle 5. They're like, sorry, I can't hear you. What's that? Oh, we lost communication. Yeah. See you later. So there was a
What was
dude-
security like there?
Dude, it was a bit iffy. Like at points there were like people all over the place, like going a bit crazy. Not bad,
Yeah.
but like people like rushing out of their seats and like people sitting in other people's seats, like obviously moving down, you know. And the security, like Abu Dhabi, like people are just too polite. They're like, "Can you please return to your seats?" So they're like, "No." Okay. You know, it was quite funny, but like I guess it's their first event that they've. Dude, look, there was a lot of problems with security, like the passes. Like I kept on like. First they were saying no, the pass is wrong, and there were like 35 media oaks, and they're like, bro, how can we all be wrong? Like,
Yeah.
you know, we were all wearing the same thing, and then that got figured out, and then I like put my stuff in, came out to get something to drink. They're like, you can't be in here. I'm like, my camera is literally right there. So there was a lot of confusion.
I suppose that's the problem with hosting an event
Yeah,
in a country
Yeah.
once every 3 years.
yeah, but so
No one gets used
so
to
they're
it.
gonna go back every year now for 5 years,
Okay.
exclusively to Abu Dhabi.
All pay-per-views.
I don't know. I would assume so though.
Yeah. The crazy thing now is these fight nights are actually getting like 1.3 million live gates,
Yeah.
12,000 people in the arena.
But you see how you see how, and this was, I mean, obviously we laughed at the spat today about people going hard at Graham, and one of the points that I saw in there was, you know, you're banking on the main fight, like your headliner and the co-main. But that's what the fight nights are all doing now.
Yeah.
They're all banking on that main event. You know what? You might not have like the craziest card you've ever seen, and it's a nice way to give like up and comers an opportunity and hometown dudes an opportunity, and then I don't know. I think that's my phone. I do apologize. And then bang like a killer main event. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're quite spread. I mean, we've spoken about EFC problems and I mean, look, they're still here doing it. You know what I mean? So I think they've done pretty well in banking on a good main event.
Yeah.
This card that's coming up is not wrong.
It's actually
it's a good
looking
little
decent.
card.
Yeah.
It's a nice little card. I know there's always going to be negative says, and look, if I had to cherry pick, there's a couple of fights in there, but overall, I think it's a pretty good card.
The problem is people need to realize you can't have a card full of superstars.
Yeah.
Like a portion of that card needs to be dedicated to developing future talent, and a portion of that card needs to be centered around people with a bit of star power. The problem is that I think often people expect a superstar on every fight from fight 1 to fight 12.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then someone's going to shit all over you, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, we don't have feeder promotions, so guys who need experience, pro experience, the only way they're going to get pro experience is on the undercard of an EFC event. And that's where all these guys are building up their careers, on the undercard.
Yeah, you know, and like, I mean, if you take the overall picture of EFC, of how they've had to scrapping events, scrapping traveling, and really try and pull back. You know, I know a lot of negative people say, oh, but you know, that's not really the situation, like they're making money. And I don't think that is the real case. But I mean, to put on a card like this in like a difficult time and get big names in the respective weight classes,
Yeah.
all on this card. I mean, you know, my only question here is, and hopefully I'm going to get the chance to ask the EFC brass about this. My only question mark is, why are we bringing this Biong from Italy out for a vacant light heavyweight title? You know, that's, I mean, like no one's really bothered. You know, I mean, like we could have waited for that.
It's not such an exciting division at the moment.
Yeah. Why are you losing money on bringing him out, unless it's something we don't know about? When you could have bought a number of overseas champions. You know what I mean? You could have bought Jake Hadley. You could have bought Joe Cummins if he wants to come back out.
So my understanding is Jake is unavailable right now because he's got a Bellator fight coming up.
But that's because of the EFC not bringing him back to compete.
Yeah. But do you think that this international was like a bit of a knee-jerk reaction? We still want to keep the double title
Maybe
on the card, and we don't want to lose that. I think what would have been a more interesting fight is just to put Zach Badat against Rousseau. I know Zach's only 1-0.
Yeah.
I know Zach's only 1-0, but he is literally the next contender.
Yeah.
You know, there's no
You see, yeah. So I quite like how that's you've got the main card, the main event, and then you've got the number one contender on the same card. I love seeing that because I think it fires the guys up.
Yeah.
For one, these dudes are going to fight their heart out because they know, like, you know, that they can really put a statement out here.
Yeah.
And these dudes are watching very closely. You know what I mean? And the second you win your fight, you know who you're fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And also, there's a bit of a security blanket if someone. I mean,
I was waiting for it to go this way. What you want to say, boy?
This Grand Prix has been
The
doomed.
cursed Grand Prix.
Yeah, everything welterweight's been cursed. Remember the curse of the belt? Now it's the curse of the Grand
I
Prix.
was laughing and they were like, in the promo, and it's like, the Grand Prix finally comes to an end. I'm like, dude, to be honest, the Grand Prix never really started.
Well, you know what I didn't realize? I mean, we're obviously doing this little side project for some releases we're doing this week. I didn't realize that Luke's never actually won a welterweight fight.
But that's
ever.
what I was saying to you ages ago.
Yeah, I remember we had the discussion. I was like, surely not. But he's only had one welterweight fight and he lost it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got someone that doesn't have any welterweight experience and isn't even ranked at welterweight technically.
Fighting for the title.
Which is like difficult to kind of digest a little bit.
I think the EFC at times feels under pressure to put on title fights. I think, and I do get it. I understand. Like, everyone wants to see a title fight. It means that much more.
Yeah.
So I think there's constantly like that pressure in the background for a title fight. Okay, just looking at this card, Simon Hall, Jean Bezat. Look, I'm going to say it again. If it happens, cool. Hopefully it does. Tommy Stratum versus Warren Richards. It's a nice little fight. That. Who's here? I can't see.
That's Ruvan De Beer versus Nkizi.
You've
Orlando
got
Machaba versus Steven Delaray.
August and Sizwem Nekati. And this is a great little fight, this. Pretorius versus Badat.
So is Pretorius going to apply his trade at light heavyweight now?
Seems like it, but did you see how thick he was? Who was the fight he fought last? He took
Lal Karam.
Yeah, dude.
But didn't they weigh in at 86?
Yeah, it was like a catch weight. They said it was a middleweight, but it was like a...
Yeah.
It was like a weird weight. Because that was the problem. Originally he said no to the fight, and then he said, okay, we can do it at 86.
Yeah.
So he obviously doesn't want to cut it. And he's a unit, dude. He's a
nice thick
unit.
guy.
And he put on a good performance. I think some people thought he actually even won that fight. I don't know.
Maybe it's wise. I mean, that light heavyweight division's so thin.
So open. Yeah, that's what I was saying to you. Like guys like Tabani and Debella that are walking on like 103 kilos. Make the cut, dude.
You'll be a champ instantly.
Jikasa, bro. Make the cut, dude. He's also like 103, 104 kilos.
And the guys that are competing there, I don't think Zach cuts much weight at all to make light
Doubt
heavyweight.
it. Yeah, he probably walks in there.
I mean, Quinton's quite big.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's cutting
He's thick
down.
though, but he's not tall. He
He's not like
he was like 6 foot. He's not monstrous, dude. Let me tell you, bro. I've seen what big dudes look like.
Yeah.
he's not that big, dude. Kamaru Usman, holy shit! Like,
doesn't he walk around like 205, 210?
Dude, unfortunately, I took a cuck photo of the two of us, but bro, like he towers me. Like he must be. I think he must be like 6 foot, maybe 6'1", and just thick as a snicker, dude. Jesus, he's a unit. And the scary thing is, like, people say that like Tyron Woodley's way thicker than him. Yeah, which is scary. And like TV, you can't. Yeah. Like you can see it, but you can't relate to what.
Well, the problem is like on TV. You're obviously seeing it in a static environment in the sense that you're only seeing it in the octagon. Yeah. But you don't have any relation to something you're familiar with. Exactly. So like if I see him next to you, I know what you are like in real life, and then you can kind of gauge it.
It's hectic, dude. It's very, very hectic. But yeah, I mean, this is a great little card.
I think it's a good card. I mean, I think there is a number of fights leading up to the co-main that are more exciting than the actual co-main event.
Dude, like Trezor Siabi, that's a fucking cracker. That's a cracker. Yeah, but we'll
But you know,
we'll hop into that thick.
I
next
actually
week.
ended up chatting to Graham today about some of that back and forth, and I was like, it doesn't matter what you do, people are gonna shit all over it. It's unfortunately the nature of this industry is that no one's ever happy. You can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, well, I can.
And
I can
generally
tell you
people-
firsthand about that.
Generally, the loudest people are the people being negative. You know, I think they've done pretty well. I kind of think these big gaps between the cards have done well for the quality of the cards
Sure.
and kind of like the build up to the events. But then it's also sad not to have as many events every year, especially if you're the only pro organization around.
But I mean, just before I say what I wanted to say, but I'll tell you first about negativity, and this was, I'm in Abu Dhabi. You know, and I engage and I shouldn't have engaged. I should have just let it go. I normally don't engage. You know what I mean? Like, but it's frustrating to you know, like, people don't really understand, and we can't all understand everybody's what they're doing and what they're going through. But you know, like, you've done all of this work, you've sacrificed time, money away from your family, traveled across the country,
A lot of money.
You know what I'm saying? And like to do something that's never been done on a South African perspective, and then still get fucking shit for it online by some fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, it's irritating, bro. You know what I mean? It's not that it's irritating, it's frustrating. Like, and it's a South African shitting on you. And because the worst part of that is because all they're doing is pushing an agenda. They're giving you shit saying that you're pushing an agenda in essence. But at the same time, that's why they're cross, because they want to push their agenda. Because they're like, oh, you're not focusing on this person who happens to be from the camp I'm part of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating. So there was one, I thought I shouldn't have gauged, whatever. Fuck those people. They can all eat a dick. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, we don't need your negativity. Like, just like, ask the question in the right way. Bro. No, fuck, they can eat a dick, honestly. And then you get people that are like, they're like, oh, Don's performance was so boring.
Oh, the armchair critics.
Dude,
oh my goodness.
and I'm like, listen here, mate. Listen here.
I want to address
You
both
fucking
issues.
go and do it. You know what I'm saying? You fucking go and do it. And like, and even like, so you put in a situation a guy like Dan Hardy, who knows more than fucking all of us combined.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Including all these armchair critics. And he was saying, he's like, you know, like, it was weird. It's not the performance I expected from Don. But and then he was like, you know, it's hard to follow up a knockout like that on debut.
Yeah.
But he's like, the nice thing is we got to see his full arsenal, and he can. And he said exactly, if you want to fight a long kickboxer who's fought in glory, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And that if you want to progress in your career, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And that's Dan Hardy. That's not me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can say whatever I want. People can say you're stupid. That's fine. You know what I mean? But when Dan Hardy says it, you like, you listen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the reality of the situation. He fought a fucking good kickboxer. That kid was way tougher than we realized. The takedown was nearly impossible. It was like trying to take down a giraffe. His legs were fucking...
Imagine trying to get that underhook. I mean, that guy's armpit is significantly higher than your shoulder. Like, how do you get an activated underhook on someone that of that height? So I want to address both issues. So I'm going to go back to the guy that you said can eat some dick.
Not that guy in particular. I'm just saying all of those people.
In general, no, I know. What people don't understand is that it's not like we get to pick or that you get to pick and choose what event you can go to, right? Abu Dhabi is the closest event to South Africa, right? It's the cheapest event to get to from a South African perspective because of the reduction in travel costs. And it happened that we had a South African on that card, you know? Exactly. So, I mean, you would love to go and cover Dolce fighting in the US, but it's literally Moscow, 2.5 times the price of going to Abu Dhabi.
Exactly.
You know? So it's not viable. I mean, we want to try and do a Europe one or something close again.
100%.
But I mean, people think that you're just basically dick riding Don because it's Don,
like,
you know?
Yeah, cool.
But
and they were like, oh, is this his new marketing campaign?
The problem is people also don't understand that you lost a lot of money.
That's
from
exactly like it's actually cost me money for that.
It's not that common that you have access to a UFC fighter.
No,
I mean,
exactly.
We train in the same environment as Don, so you have access to him, right? Which means you can video him, and there's a level of trust that he trusts what you're gonna do with some of that footage and so forth. Not everyone's gonna trust you.
And that's a fucking huge point, dude. That's a massive point. People don't realize, like, if we go and film someone to try and tell a story, we're entrusted. You know what I mean? There's so much footage that I can't release because it's just it's part of his game plan or whatever, and I've been entrusted to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So you're sieving through all of that, and you've got to earn that. You know what I mean? And I can't just rock up at some oak's gym and start filming them. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? There's this symbiotic relationship that goes on here. You know what I mean? And there's at the end of the day, but there's so much more to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then like I say, it's my own ego that wants to engage. Shouldn't do it. You know, people like that they're just sad. You know what I'm saying? Like the irony in all of that situation is that you're pushing your own agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you're only following this dude. I'm like, well, you fly me wherever you want me to be. And I said it to this dude. I'm like, if you're so worried about champion, why don't you fly me there and I'll come and do the same thing? Because I've just paid to go. I can't just stop what I'm doing and pay to go there.
And be a business owner.
Exactly. Be a business owner and a father and a husband and fucking everything else that goes in with it. You know what I mean? And like, these guys don't realize that they see us sitting here and producing something online. They just think, oh, fuck, bro, these oaks must be we just swim through the money to get to these mics, bro. We're like, yeah, boy, let me get through the, Scrooge McDuck all the way to the microphone, bro. The reality is that fucking every day this costs money and time. You know what I mean? It's not like we don't have I wish we had the fucking luxury of MMA Junkie where we'd be like, sweet lads, we're off to Moscow. To follow champion. Fuck, I love it.
Yeah.
That's the end goal. That's what we're trying to achieve. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, man. Fuck. You know.
Yeah.
That's and there's a particular South African mentality behind that stuff, dude, that you can only get here.
Yeah.
And like, why? And my question is, look, why are you attacking me now? If you think I'm a prick, why don't you send me a message on Monday? Just say like, look, cool, but it was cool what you did, but you know.
Look, I think the Americans have it a little bit worse.
Yeah,
sometimes I'm part of some of these like closed groups for MMA in America, and type of shit I see them posting. Did you ever see the thing about Cyborg? So I'll start right from the beginning. So at Apex, there's a KFC drive-through as you enter the complex, right? So after her fight, she posted a thing, and of her eating KFC and said, for all my African friends. Yeah. Right? So none of us thought anything of it being in reference to the people that she trained with in Africa. Yeah. Right? At Apex, that's got a KFC drive-through at the base. So I see this on one of the closed groups, this guy like posts this thing, cyborg, racist, this, that, the next thing, implying that only black Americans like KFC and all that. I was like, so I like comments. I was like, guys, like, fortunately I was around for that camp. I live in South Africa. Our gym literally has a KFC at the entrance. She wasn't even referencing, the people she was referencing were white Africans, right? Yeah. So
you have to face the temptation of KFC every day.
Yeah, if you go to Apex, they blow the smell of KFC at you as you enter the thing. It's brutal. Like if you're a KFC fan, it's hectic. So I mean, like the Americans have to deal with bullshit like that because there's just so many people that their whole job is to troll.
Yeah, just talk shit.
Yeah. Then I wanted to address the second thing, the armchair critics of Don's thing. First of all, I was showing to Rich today. Don broke his hand on the first exchange, literally the very first exchange of the fight, right? And when you've got a broken hand, and now you're fighting a guy on short notice, he took it on 2 weeks' notice, right? Someone that's very different to the original guy you were going to fight. You have to do what you have to do to win, you know? Like, if he could have gone out there and searched for the knockout and jeopardized his record as well as his status in the division, right? Or he could have played the safe way. The odds were against him in the sense that everything was like quite last minute for him. Yeah. Play it safe. Get the takedown. I mean, that guy was tough, man. He must have been, 6'3", 6'4"? Dude. Don's like 6 foot, right?
Dude, I think he was like 6'3" and had 4 meters of legs, bro.
It was madness. It was absolutely madness. So
and Don's tall for lightweight.
Yeah. 100%. So like for all the guys sitting in their fucking lounger watching UFC on SuperSport 11, just calm down. Like, he did what he needed to do to win. He's the first South African to get 2 wins in the UFC that were back to back.
I think
he did it on the biggest card of the year. Yeah. And don't forget, it was million fucking degrees in that arena.
Dude,
There were so many factors that you have to
promise
deal
dude,
with.
It was.
I heard a
it
whole
was
bunch of fighters
so
were
hot
just
in there, dude.
were just complaining. They were like, you don't understand. Like
So
like
hot
it was
in
so hot. It definitely affected everyone's performance.
I'll tell you, it was, and like, I wouldn't say that like the fights were cack because it was so hot. There was great performances, but you could see dudes get to their chair after the first round and be like, "Fuck,
Yeah.
it's hot." You could see it, you know, like,
Yeah.
dude, it was. I wish I could. The funniest thing I saw, I tried to take a photo of it, but it didn't come out because it was dark. So because it's not like a permanent structure, they had scaffoldings,
Yeah.
like it's like certain places for the cameras, you know, for those high cameras, and on those scaffoldings, you know, like those restaurant fans, the arm fans.
Oh yeah.
They had like one of those on each corner of the scaffold. Like, this is the most pointless thing I've ever seen. But listen, there was one of the funniest things. So like at the ceremonial weigh-ins. I walked outside to get a water. There was like a bar outside. But dude, the funniest thing, now, in the desert, just remember, like the temperatures were like 42 and 32. So your minimum is 32. Like
Oh my.
1 o'clock in the morning, maybe it's 32, dude. If
Yeah,
you're
see.
lucky. Sunset, like just before sunset, I walk outside and there's these bars outside. The dudes have got the sun in their faces and it's like 400 degrees outside. I'm
my
like,
goodness.
what did you do to get this to land this job, dude? You know, like the dudes had like shirts in their hats to try and like hide
Oh
their
my
faces.
goodness.
I was like, oh my.
That's actually like
word.
just punishment.
like you.
Those
yeah.
guys were caught stealing or something.
Yeah. So I think they were prisoners. They were prisoners, dude. Honestly, the hottest place I've ever been to in my life. Like I've been to Mozambique in the middle of heat waves, dude, and you can't compare the two. Like you don't understand how hot it was in there. Like, dude, I've sat in carnival and been cold in the middle of summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a different ball game, and it does happen. I mean, like Dana referenced like Brazil, and there are places where it does happen.
Yeah,
Fair
so he
enough.
did reference Brazil, but then I think one of the media outlets like broke it down statistically, and they're like, Brazil's never come close to this.
Yeah,
Like,
no, dude. That's and I think because it's not a permanent structure, it's like a giant tent in essence.
well, but I saw there were some pieces of it that were open to the elements.
Yeah, sort of. So it was like 2 layers, bro. So where you came in, there was like the fan experience. So there was like this long tent, no aircon.
Yeah.
A couple of fans here and there, you know. So you like walked in through the turnstiles and stuff, came into like this long tent, and it had all the stuff, like you could see the belt, and there was like meet and greets and shops and stuff. And then you like kicked off to the side of that, you went outside and then back into the first layer, which was goes around the actual arena.
Yeah.
And then you walked into the arena. So if you go from 45 degrees to 40 degrees to 39.9 degrees into the arena. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely a massive temperature change.
Yeah.
From outside, you know, outside by the bars, they had outdoor air cons, dude. I went to go stand in front of one, I couldn't feel it. It was the biggest waste of time. If you just I was standing like this, I was like, let me just see what happens. I'm like, yeah, fuck, this not working.
So they dismantled that entire structure now.
Yeah.
So
But the thing is, they're gonna go back. So I don't know what happens here if they build a permanent thing or what happens. Dude.
so what happened to the Ferrari Center? Because that was where the original Abu Dhabi event was, right?
So Ferrari, the Ferrari World is now a theme park. It's like a giant theme park.
Oh, okay.
The
So
coolest fucking theme park
so
ever.
there's no actual like
No,
stadium seats.
So
and stuff.
Yas Island, there's nothing there, dude. So it's like 20 minutes outside of actual Abu Dhabi city.
Yeah.
There's Warner Brothers. There's a giant mall. There's Ferrari World. Some slick hotels. There's a beach, and then there's the Formula One circuit. So
Yeah.
if there's no event, there's nothing happening there.
Yeah.
So it's purely built for events. That's what happens there. So there is like some sort of an arena, but I think it's very small.
Yeah.
So they want to be like the 15,000 plus sort of arena. I think that's what they're after. So I don't know what happens next year, because all indications say they go back next year again. Yeah, we wait to see. But that's a cool card for South Africans, and it's gonna happen next year. So,
Yeah.
so if people wanna go to a UFC event, and there were a lot of South Africans there that had made the travel, that's one to do.
What's the
It's definitely
cheapest
one to do,
option?
yeah. Well, look, let me tell you, bro.
It's expensive.
Cheapest to get there, yeah.
Yeah.
But make sure you pack your coins when you get there, boy. Yes, it's no joke. It's no joke.
Did your hotel have breakfast and everything?
Yeah, dude.
You buffeted that
I
thing
was that
hardcore.
dude walking out with fruit in my arms, bro. Thanks, boys.
Oh man.
Yeah, it
Awesome.
was.
So it was a great experience.
Fuck, dude, it was insane. It was super, super insane. What I wanted to say to you, you were talking about events and having less events. Shout out to Dricus, who had a massive performance in
That was
KSW. Look at KSW, dude. Top 3 events in the world.
Yeah.
I think they're ranked 3rd behind Bellator. What do they have? Like 8 events, 7 events in a year?
Where does 1FC fall into that?
Ooh, that's interesting. I wonder if we can find that. Because KSW is definitely up there.
We're having myself and Graham were chatting just briefly about it. We were saying about how many promotions actually make a profit. And barring the UFC and Graham seems to think KSW, that there's no other profit-making promotion in the world.
It's interesting, huh?
Like high level, I'm talking high. I mean, I'm sure there's like some local promotions that are running shit events,
Yeah,
making not
Sure.
paying the fighters anything and making a little bit of a profit.
sure.
But
How old is this? Can you see?
that looks old.
So say
2012.
Yeah.
So you won't have any 1FC and stuff in there.
Let's see what Wikipedia says.
They also got ACB on there, which is now ACA, which
Yeah, Russian mafia, basically.
yeah,
We love you, Russia. Please don't kill us.
they're also losing loads of money.
Yo, dude, I can't see what's going on here.
Lethal
Timeline of major events.
Kumite 1 League. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even. You've gone down a very weird rabbit hole.
Yeah,
here.
look, there's a YouTube video, I think, which popped up. Top 15 promotions in the world.
2018. Yeah, that should be
Depends who's...
2-minute video. That
I do apologize.
was a bit loud.
Let's see what these people say. I think it's going to be one of those videos where no one says anything. They just play music and show stuff.
What's this thing? Dummy Sports.
Yeah. Top MMA promotions. What does it say? Top 15 MMA promotions. Yeah, I see. So they're saying UFC now, Bellator, I guess. So they're not going to say anything. They're just going to show you the promotions. Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So let's just see who's third.
Okay, so Bellator. So we've got UFC, Bellator,
ACB.
ACB.
So it's now ACA, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Who had to stop doing certain events because they didn't have enough money to run it anymore. Fight Night Global.
Nah,
That's where Boyd fought, eh?
Yeah. That's where Boyd got fed to a Russian.
Yeah, yes. Never accept a fight.
Oh,
with a-
1FC now. Dude,
Never
this,
accept a fight with
I
an
don't know.
undefeated Russian wrestler.
Yeah. I will. MMA rankings topology.
Is that going to be events though? No, that's just.
Let me see the one underneath, maybe. MMA rankings, current MMA rankings.
No, but that's
Fight
Fight
Matrix.
Matrix does the fighter rankings.
Yeah. We won't have promotions, eh?
I'll just check. Nah, nothing.
No. It's weird, eh? There's like top 10 pound for pound fighter rankings. I know there's a big one that like it came out pretty recently. So we've got
Yeah, I mean, like that other one didn't even have
Bellator
PFL on there.
World Series Invicta.
Surely PFL, just by giving away like $1 million to each of those winners.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to try find a like legit version of that.
What's happened to Graham's little in the hexagon?
Who knows, dude? Who knows? Struggling for consistency, Graham. Get on it. Get on it.
As if you ever haven't had enough criticism for one day.
This is the big old criticism for you. Struggling for consistency. Graham used to have a vlog on YouTube as well.
Is it?
Disappeared, yeah.
No, you're lying.
Watch. Look, we're on YouTube now.
Did you subscribe?
There, Graham Cartmel.
Ah, Big Al was one of your subscribers.
Yeah, I subscribe, bro. I subscribe. What was the last one he did?
Oh, no, I remember this.
Yeah, remember.
2 years ago.
What does that say? G-log.
Yeah.
What?
Vlog.
Flogged for danger. What in the hell, Graham Cartmel?
Flagged for danger.
Say it, Nadine. Fight. Fight week. Fight week. Fight week.
Fight week!
Fight week.
Jesus,
I've just seen 3 people that do not work at the FC anymore.
times have changed.
Fight week, bitches!
Fight week.
What the hell?
Who's the new Nadine?
What are you girls doing?
I'm not too sure, boy.
Are going to be
Is it not Clarissa? Oh no, Nadine did like
It was she was
Athlete
she was the athlete
coordinator.
Yeah, bro.
Is it not what's her name? Is her name not Bianca?
Bianca, but then she also back off.
Possibly.
She had a fight. She had a fight.
Oh, look at this. Flagged for danger. Is this the one where Yannick slaps Dricus?
It's Cal versus.
Gareth. Yeah, but I'm sure this is the headline was Dricus versus Yannick, and where Yannick slaps him here at this press conference. Well, not at the media day.
Where's that tooth gone? Who hit the tooth out? Hey? Hey, what do you do to this guy? Do you know?
Sylvester. There, check.
Wait,
Boom. Remember this?
but let's all admit that.
Injecting steroids up in the arse.
Oh,
You know
coming,
Yannick
coming,
Bahati.
coming from the oak that's passing no sniff test. That oak's such a knob, bro.
Ooh. Jeez. Must be nothing worse than. Yannick's actually, he's not the worst dude in the world.
He's not the greatest either.
There must be nothing worse than slapping your opponent, going through all that and getting choked the fuck out.
Where are you girls going? Are you going running? Doing work?
Okay.
Those are the old officers, eh?
This is pre-PI.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you see, Graham had a vlog.
Come on, girls. Let's get a good 2K in, eh?
Graham, for
Get a good 2K for a dick.
Graham, for sure, let's get the vlog back in.
Yeah, this is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time.
Team EFC, we expect more of you, Chelsea join.
Well, and
Well, you obviously have an agenda. Why aren't you covering Graham?
Why?
You covered Don. Why aren't you fucking covering Graham?
I'll start following him around, bro. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, he had a vlog.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's awesome. What's
Once
happened
again,
to the
struggling with
EFC
consistency, Graham.
embedded series? No, it's a,
Well, I would guess.
I enjoy those.
I love that shit, dude. I'm
yeah.
a sucker for that shit, dude. Anything, I'll watch it. I love. I'm promise you, bro. I'm the worst with that shit. If it's something like behind the scenes, I'm.
You know
all
what's
up
the
on it.
worst
I'm
is
watching that shit.
that Anatomy of a Fighter, and then I do like a 12 episode thing.
Have you seen he's about to release an hour episode, bro,
from Abu Dhabi?
from Abu Dhabi.
Just
After all of the filming he's already done, I think he's gonna mash some of that together though. Make like 1 hour movie long about Abu Dhabi.
so this is my thing, right? That what's his name?
Will Harris.
Will Harris. In terms of like producers or guys that are creating this kind of like one man documentary
yeah.
style, he's not the
Independent
greatest.
filmmakers, yeah.
He's not the greatest out there.
Yeah.
But what he does have that no one has, which is what you had with Don, was access.
Listen, why doesn't someone fucking go comment to Will Harris's shit asking why he's only following Khabib?
Only
Dickheads.
following Khabib, only following Henry
So-
Hoof's guys.
so
Hard Knock 360.
I listened to Will Harris's podcast with Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
and it was quite cool how he was so honest about it. And he was saying, because you know the footage of Conor throwing the dolly,
Yeah, that was
that's him who filmed it.
Yeah.
And they asked him, like, you know, how come you... Because often he'll go, if there's a fight between two dudes, he'll go to both camps.
Yeah.
And, like, he's so well entrusted that they're like, it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how deep he's gone. And, like, massive respect to that shit, dude. That takes some work.
Yeah.
And because the reality is you're going to see stuff that you can't share.
Yeah.
And you entrusted not to share that. You know what I
And
mean?
it would make the actual documentary so much better if you put it in,
I
but
mean,
you
like,
can't put it in.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. So, and then they asked him about Conor, and he was like, look, you know, he's committed to Khabib, and Khabib invited him to Dagestan, and he was with his family, you know what I mean? And it's to be honest, it's like very similar for like me and Don, you know what I mean? Like, okay, obviously I didn't go to Dagestan with Don's family, but it's like that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's that sort of that sort of like mutual respect, you know what I mean, that you've been allowed in here, you know what I mean. So don't fuck it up. It's just that's like it's a respect thing, you know what I mean, 100%. And it's like an honorable job that you're doing, you know what I mean. So like I said, not everybody gets it, but that's up to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Will Harris, beast, also a unit, bro.
Yeah,
Dude's a fucking unit.
Wasn't he gonna be like a pro basketball player?
Yeah, I think so, something like that. Cool. But yeah, Anatomy of a Fight is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Dude, what did you think about, I know we just briefly mentioned Dricus' performance. It's so cool to go like almost back to back 2 big South African wins in big promotions. That was like, fuck yes, man.
Well, that for guys who didn't know any of like the lead up to that, I mean, that guy who was fighting, I think, was 11-1 in his last 12.
Also from UFD gym. Now, I don't want to say...
Also looked like he was from UFD gym.
Listen.
Max Merton and Roberto Soldic were all in the same protocol.
Look, I don't want to say anything, but I just want to go find UFD gym here quickly and find a team photo.
You must insert this into the actual video.
Yeah, I must. Let's just find a couple of pics.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those team photos. You're like,
Look, UFD, we're not going to say that you're all on the juice.
Did Soldic also win this weekend?
Yeah. I mean, look, Soldic is the first dude we can have a look at, and he's no small boy. He's no small boy. Look at the... Wait, where are these team photos, man?
There's one?
Where?
There's a couple of there.
They all got their shirts on, though, bro. That's not the ones we want. I know this sounds horrible. Yeah, we go. Now we're talking.
Yeah. Dude. You've just been followed by Jeff Nowitzki. Like that is
it's a couple of Instagram models up in here. Yeah. Look at these oaks. There's like 425 abs between 4 dudes here. but they all look the same. This is what I'm trying to get to. Yeah. Can you see what I'm saying? They're like, they're just savages. They're just like thick, ripped savages. Look at them, bro. Everyone in the gym is like, I can't go there. They'll kick me out. They'll be like, sorry, bro, you don't meet the requirements. Get out.
Man. I don't see
Look at these dudes.
I don't see any Max Merton in that. I don't see Max Merton in any of those photos.
Oh, I think he's the full-time pharmacist for them now.
Yeah.
Dude, like, and did you see the dude Dricus fought that Jordan Santos?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, UFD, definitely.
100%.
I'm with you.
Who have they got in the UFC?
Rakic. Isn't he from there? He was just in that picture, the light heavyweight that we saw. Listen, Jeff. Yeah, this dude, Rakic.
Oh, okay. And he's the least shredded out of all of them.
Yeah. Natural, boy. He's natural. Look at this. He must be like a flyweight. Look at this dude, bro. He's a little beast.
For those of you who can't see the photos, imagine Max Merton just shrunk a little bit.
Yeah, I'll try and remember to put these in the videos so people can see what we're talking about. Otherwise, just go onto UFD Gym on Facebook and have a little look for yourself. There's Maxi, the German tank. My man. What a beast. Even his beard's chiseled, bro. Yes. Yeah.
Doesn't Thiago Silva also go there?
I think you might be right.
Like he visits there and...
he just goes for his top up.
Yeah. Well, that's it. He was one of the guys that had the massive body change in the USADA era. Remember? Yeah. He went from like shredded to like belly, like love handles hanging over the side of his pants.
Yeah, that's me post USADA.
Yeah, that's me post retirement from the MMA.
I'm gonna start.
I'll just eat everything.
That's what I'm gonna start saying. I'm like, post USADA. The post USADA bot going, bro. Post USADA bot. I mean, look at these oaks, bro. Look at them. Did you not find anyone with more than 6% body fat here? Like I'm telling you, bro, it's like a strip club or something. They've got requirements, dude. I'm telling you.
Oh man,
Max is just like too fat. Take more. Check out Max Merton. What a beast. I miss Max Merton. I think we should just bring him back. Fuck it.
Do the juice league.
Let him be juiced, bro. Let him cut to lightweight.
Look, he wasn't great on the juice. So.
Look, that's like the fattest dude there. He's got 5.5% body fat. Boo, like it's... I mean, Jeff Nowitzki's watching this gym closely. He's like, if any of these dudes come to the UFC, he's like, listen, we're gonna run some tests. Check
look at Max. Jeez, like and then they were surprised. Jeez, like it.
Dude, look at this oak. What an absolute animal.
Was that a hand on his neck or was that just his trap?
No, I think that's a trap.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Maxi. What a lach, bro. Yeah, so UFD gym. Anyway, yeah, but geez, man, Dricus put on a massive performance.
Yeah, no, it was
He broke that dude. I literally watched that dude break, which was impressive.
Cam actually described it the best. Like when you watch Dricus fight, it's like he's at range and then it's like an explosion.
Yeah.
And then they go to range again and then it's an explosion. And a lot of guys just can't handle that, eh?
Yeah. He looked really, really good at middleweight. I think that lack of cut is, I think he's made the right decision and smart enough to do it very early on.
Yeah.
And I think it's what I was thinking about when this was all happening. I was like, it's such a, and Dricus is a smart dude. His whole, the way he carries on his business side of it and the way he gets to promote and everything he does is very well thought out. To have that presence of mind at that young age and say, okay, listen, we've been between promotions, we've been between weight classes, let's fucking cut this shit. Let's focus on one weight class. Let's focus on KSW. Let's get in there. Let's get a fight. Let's make a statement. Let's go for a title.
Yeah.
Because Dricus, at the end of the day, wants to be a world champion. That's what he wants to be. Which brings me to the question, and I asked Dricus at that quick interview with him over the phone, and the crazy thing with this Lesar Duplessis thing for December, I know Graham came out and said he's trying to make it happen, and Lesar wants to make it happen. Dricus says he wants to make it happen, but everything is still a maybe. In the EFC prospectus for the year, the biggest fight we can put on.
It's the biggest fight you can make. At the moment.
Do you think it's going to happen?
You know the problem is that how if you're in Dricus's position and KSW come to you and say we want to do a December event, how do you turn them down on the money that they're paying you?
Yeah,
I mean, this is complete speculation, but from what I heard, he's making like 40K every time he wins. You know, so he's walking away with like 700,000 rand to fight a KSW.
Sure. And that's without speculating. That's KSW's strong point.
Yeah,
is that's how they
pay their fighters.
They pay their fighters. Yeah, that's their thing.
So like how does a fighter who doesn't have like your working career is only 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Right. How do you pass up on an opportunity to earn that type of money, to go and earn a lot less money?
Yeah.
So the only way he would accept that is out of pride, to like you said, to represent Pretoria. To have something happen in Pretoria. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if the loss of income, and we're not saying that EFC are being dicks and not paying what he's worth. It's like,
they can't afford it.
It's different. It's like, you can afford an Audi or you can afford a fucking
not an Audi.
Or you can afford an A4 or a TT. Like, you're talking like different worlds now. So I don't think it's going to happen. I'd love to see it happen. And if Graham gets that done, man.
Yeah, someone's going to have to owe me an apology like on Instagram.
These are like one of those situations where you hope you're wrong. You really do hope you're wrong, because
like
I would love to see that fight, because I think on paper Dricus is by far the more talented, experienced fighter. But what we've learned about Brennan is that you never doubt his ability.
So this is my thing. If you're Dricus, okay, you go through this now. Obviously, straight away at KSW, you're starting to talk about title contention. You started talking about the next fight. I assume KSW has one more event this year, if not two. Are you in the running for that?
Yeah.
Because that changes everything.
Yeah.
Because if KSW give Dricus 2 weeks and they're like, listen, number one contender fight for middleweight in December, it's over, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
this is dead in the water then.
And why would KSW and Dricus now? Because listen, KSW's got a say in this as well. You know what I mean? He signed to KSW at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Why would KSW risk Dricus, who's a big star? And if people don't believe me, go and look at even my silly little YouTube channel and see the beats Dricus gets from Poland on there.
Yeah.
He's a huge star in Poland. People don't realize it. They love him in Poland.
Yeah.
Because Dricus has gone about it the right way. He's appealed to them. His posts are all in Polish. They can understand what he's saying. And he's a big star at KSW.
Yeah.
This is the reality. Why would you let him, after all the money and investment, go and risk that? Because if he loses to Lesar, and if Polish people and KSW and European market look at it and they're like, who's Brennan Lesar? Okay, he beat Soulja Boy. Okay, cool. But they're like, okay, look, Soulja Boy's a little bit older now. why would you risk that? If you were Dricus, why would you risk it? And I get it. Dricus is that guy. He always wants a tough fight, and I get it. I just don't. I'm with you, dude. I want to see that shit happen.
Yeah.
100% want to see that happen. I hope it happens.
And you are more than happy to say sorry to Graham.
No, 100%. But I just don't. I don't see any value in it for anyone besides the EFC fans and Ben Lesar.
Yeah.
From the other side of the coin, it makes no sense. If I'm on Dricus' team and you ask me what do you think, I'm like, dude, you fucking stupid. I don't take that fight. For what? You know what I mean? Cool. But that being said, I think financially Dricus makes a massive amount of money in sponsors locally. I think he gets huge eyes on that event. You know what I mean? So there is that side to consider as well.
It would be interesting if I'm not saying this is a situation, but if you got someone on board like the actual like Sun International and been like, we can literally sell this entire arena out by booking Dricus. And get them on board to cover parts of the purse, like sweeten the pot somehow. Yeah.
And for sure, speak to Times Square to get those screens back in.
I heard that's a no-go for the next one.
Yeah, sadly. I had a feeling.
I'm actually working in Times Square, and I had to interact with some of the guys that deal with the events. I was like, man, those screens were amazing. They're like, yeah, not happening again.
Never happening again. I reckon they'd get them for Dricus, though. Yeah, dude, so it's like, it's a weird situation. I don't know.
I think that's the only way you get Dricus onto this card is you get someone like Sun International. No, you get someone like Sun International to buy into the idea of like how big of a star he is.
Yeah.
That, you know, he's the biggest asset to the EFC roster, but you can't access them without enough money.
Dude, even say to all the sponsors, look, we can, this is what we provide you. We've made this massive footprint into Africa.
Yeah.
You're paying like a fucking decent premium. We want to get Dricus on the card. The big problem is financial. So we're asking for this event 10 grand from each of you. You know
and then
I mean?
and project
whatever
what the increase in viewership is going to be. Try and show them what the reach is.
Yeah. I don't even think you have to even try. You can just tell them and explain it. They can call me. I'll explain it to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like EFC Times Square, good. EFC Dricus Times Square, very good. Money. I mean, like, it's very simple. The equation is very simple. Dude.
Yeah.
Dricus fighting in Times Square in Pretoria is, especially now after the run, is huge.
Yeah.
Does it make sense for Dricus? For me, no. That's my honest opinion. But I hope it happens.
Yeah, I really hope it happens. And it seems like everyone's keen for it, but it always comes down to money.
Yeah, it does.
And even a promotion that's doing well will struggle to afford Dricus, you know?
Sure, especially now, dude. Especially after performance like that. And you're like, okay.
Well, just look at it like this, right? They released the Abu Dhabi salaries. Maybe half that card earned less than what Dricus earned this past weekend.
Yeah.
I mean...
Speculation.
No, yeah, we're speculating. But
no, sure, but I'm with you.
He's a high-paid MMA athlete.
He's a big star, dude. Yeah. I don't think people I know a lot of people do know, but I think a lot of people don't realize just how big a star Dricus is.
Yeah, and I mean to finally fight in his hometown, well, kind of his hometown.
Here's an idea.
Kind of his hometown.
Here's an idea. Why doesn't KSW come here for December?
Oh man, now you're talking.
Speaking of that, I believe Brave is coming. Someone was asking me this question. From what I understand, the word on the street is they're gonna be here for December on the 16th of December.
I heard the same story.
From
people that are somewhat involved in Brave.
Funny that. So for those of you who want to be part of the 10 people watching that event. No, I'm just joking.
At least not the same day as EFC.
Oh, I also heard that it's going to be in Durban.
In Durban?
Corrector, sir. Corrector. You didn't hear that, so maybe that is a thick rumor.
Durban doesn't seem like the right... I mean, that's like the smallest EFC event is Durban.
But I think that's the strategy. Because it's Durban, December holidays.
You know, Durban's got a track record of having international fights come there and bomb.
Yeah, you do know that nobody's in Durban on the 16th of December. That it's not quite holidays just yet. But anyway, I'm not the strategist.
Barring that, King of the Cage went to Durban and tanked hardcore.
Is it?
They brought Ken Shamrock out and everything.
Huh. Some trivia for you.
Oh, Ken Shamrock didn't No, he did. He fought that night and he lost to some no-name guy. Abdul Hassan knocked someone dead that night with a head kick. I think it was like a 10-second head kick KO. Knocked him dead.
Yeah.
Actually, bring up that the King of the Cage card in Durban.
Thanks, Rourke, for being in Maldives.
Yeah, Rourke's gone surfing in the Maldives.
King of the Cage.
How inconsiderate. King of the Cage and Durban. I'm sure we'll bring up the...
Etequin. Platinum Durban, South Africa. King of the Cage.
fight results.
African appearance in Durban. Yeah, so I suppose easy to sell out, you know, a little bit shy after the, like, I mean, there's no, without any disrespect to Brave, I'm actually I know they don't like me, but I'm a big fan of Brave. I really am.
Yeah.
They do some weird stuff. And I think they use our guys for cannon fodder a lot of the time, but
Peter Nyidi was on that card in
a lot of amateur fights, eh? K1 rules.
Yeah.
Let's try to get to, like, this would obviously be the main event here. Kane Shamrock first.
Yeah. Apparently, from what I understand, it was like a weird finish. Like Ken
Mike
kind
Bork or something. I can't really see.
Yeah, this
Is
is
that
Mike
Rourke
Bork.
buffet?
Sean Strickland versus Donovan Hawkeye.
Jeepers.
Sean's in the UFC.
Yeah.
Or was in the UFC.
Hectic.
Dane Neveling versus Dean Van Rooyen. I think... No, I won't even talk about it on this show because I'll get in trouble.
Again.
Yeah, no, but I'll get in trouble from much like...
So yeah, that was, so Brave is coming from what we hear. That is the word on the street.
What I don't understand about Brave, they never like advertise clearly like where they're going to. So now they're apparently going to Moscow or Russia or whatever, but you can't find that event.
Yeah, but even like I heard now Dan Shield is fighting for them in China. So I tried to look up that event.
Doesn't
see shit,
exist.
dude. Yeah,
I thought it was that Zinglang. Remember that thing I sent
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
It looks like a decent promotion, eh?
Does it? Does it? So speaking of Brave, what I wanted to say is how Mzwan Dilek Longwa, bro. What is this dude's name? He's fighting.
Where's that event? Is that the Abu Dhabi event?
Yeah,
Kim Kardashian.
No, I don't want Kim Kardashian. Fuck Kim Kardashian. I can't see, sadly. Bro, you see the dude he's fighting is like standing in his military gear with an AK-47 on Instagram.
Oh my goodness.
Like literally, I think he's fighting terrorism or something.
He's fighting a Russian, right? Or who's he fighting?
So that dude's fighting Klongwa in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. What nationality is the guy he's fighting?
I think he's Russian, but he's from All Stars in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
You know, Ilya Latifi,
Yeah.
Gustafsson.
Hashtag Latifi never seen a steroid in his life.
Never. So yeah, I think I'm happy for Klongwa. I really am. But dude, he's literally being sent because that dude wins he wins the title. That's
which is kind of like what you feel like. I mean, you feel like Steven Gonzalez got the same.
100%. Cannon fodder, dude.
What you call it? The guy that fought recently, the King.
The King.
Nkosi in the belly.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
He also got sent for hiding.
Yeah, but you know that's
what
what
do you
happens.
do? Also, like, what do you do? Like, it's not
Classic
it's not like they've got a weak roster. You know, they've got a fairly strong roster.
Yeah.
There's lots of UFC vets on that roster.
Yeah, just my thing is that it's very clear what they want from us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, there's a lot of guys here getting fucking honey dicked into that, bro. That's, I mean, we've spoken about it before. No, to speak about it again. I love Brave. I think Brave's a fucking great organization. I'd personally love to attend it and see it, but you know, unfortunately, the representation from South Africa's side there is just fucking us all over. That's the reality. The fighters, the actual promotion, because
I've heard the fighters are bleak about the whole situation.
Yeah, feeds them shit. How many dudes were signed in that have never got a fight again? They came in here like, you're talking about rape and pillaging. That's basically what they did. You're like, yeah, come. See you later, bro.
I mean, we joke about it, but I mean, like, the people that have kind of like clawed their way back into the EFC have definitely been disciplined for what they have done.
Yeah, Cool. Prelims. See ya. But it's the biggest final. Yeah. Prelims, bro. Yeah. You get 4 tickets. Get
But
the
my
fuck out of
sponsors.
here.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. We're just gonna say hashtag brave. Prelims. Get the fuck out of here. Price to pay.
Oh, man.
Anyways, I think on that bombshell, that's what we have for today.
Yeah.
We've got some. But this will go out Wednesday, so you'll see the first one.
Before this.
Yeah, so you'll see it tomorrow. Rankings. Check out the rankings. They're coming
Yeah.
in fast and furiously. Done by yours truly, our in-house statistician, Mr. King.
The stats behind everything
Yeah.
we did.
Let me just make this very clear for people, because I know the argument's going to come up. Oh, but what about this person? What about that person? Warren has literally spent months dissecting stats. Months. Like I thought I had a system, and then Warren sent me his spreadsheet, and I was like, okay, but you got this, dog. You got this. You got this.
Oh, man.
So yeah, we've given it a good crack. We've taken a lot of facts into consideration.
And
I
you
think
are
we're gonna
more
be
than
juicy.
welcome to disagree with
Yeah.
us, which is
Yeah.
more the. I mean, if you can motivate why someone should be at
Yeah.
a higher rank, I mean, it's a good discussion to have, you know.
Yeah.
But
Cool. It's always a cool debate.
yeah.
Fantastic, peeps. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry we've been away, but we have to get over
Sorry,
that.
we still got people away.
Yeah.
Some
Abu Dhabi hangover.
some fuckers still
Yeah.
surfing in Maldives.
I hope it rains. Dick.
And then I'm in Durban next week, so it'll be a
Hope it
two-man.
rains.
It'll be a 2-man show again next week.
Fantastic. You can see who the talent is of this show. Cool, guys. We'll catch you later. Peace.
Cheers, guys.